Brilliance Audio presents 8-Bit Apocalypse, The Untold Story of Atari's Missile Command by Alex Rubens, performed by Ryan Burke. Missile Command is just one of those games. The games that you may have never played, but could describe perfectly because of how often you've seen it. The games that stick out as something so unique and different, there's been very little that could ever compare. Games that, in spite of all odds, you can't shake from your memory, even decades after your last play. The game is many different things to many different people, but for me, it's always been one of the few games that have been able to stand the test of time and transcend generations. It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 50, you can play Missile Command and find enjoyment in it. I still remember my time with the game fondly, asking for quarters and sneaking in a few games every time my family went for pizza. The pizza wasn't very good, but it was our spot, and it had games. That trade-off was always worth it. I was terrible at the game, failing to grasp how the trackball worked at such a young age, but that didn't stop me from trying. Besides, all the other games were lame, especially to play by yourself. There wasn't anything like Missile Command. It was fast and exciting, pushing me to improve not only as my understanding of the game developed, but also as my body became more attuned to the fine motor skills required to play the game at a high level. It required the utmost precision, and that wasn't something I was really able to handle at such a young age. I wasn't in it for the top score. I just wanted to have fun, and Missile Command was perfect for that. It was beautiful and captivating in a package that couldn't be replicated anywhere else. As I grew up, so did my pizza parlor's arcade. New games were welcomed in, and old games were quietly shuffled out, like Andy's toys in the movie Toy Story, either because they were perpetually down for maintenance, or they just weren't drawing the quarters they once were. Whatever the cause, the arcade became more of a money-grabbing pit to pull kids away from their quarters than an experience centering on fun and exploration. Then, just like that, Missile Command was gone, never to be enjoyed by pizza-awaiting kids again. At the same time I, along with many others, began to make the transition away from arcades and toward home consoles. I had my Nintendo Entertainment System and Nintendo 64, and I could play games whenever I wanted. I didn't need to wait for it to be pizza night. As I continued down this path, arcades became a thing of the past. We would venture out for friends' birthday parties or a fun family outing, but going to the arcade wasn't a regular occurrence anymore. Missile Command came and went from my thoughts, fading into the background as new and more modern games took hold of my attention. And yet, even as time passed, the game never fully left. Its place, a staple of pop culture, bolstered by nostalgia for the Atari age, was a constant reminder of something that had captivated me so long ago. Then, in 2012, I stumbled on a story that would bring the game back to the forefront of my thoughts, quickly consuming my every action as I set off to discover more about the story of one man who had brought joy and dread to so many gamers decades earlier.